I feel completely miserable and I have nobody to talk to. I'm 6 months on from D-Day. My ex was physically abusive while he was drunk one night, and in the aftermath of that, admitted that he cheated on me with a 5H ochre jean bang while on holiday in Cambodia 3 years prior. Since then, he's been verbally abusive, trashed my things, and tried to extort me for $15K. I felt like I was doing okay for a lot of it, trying to reach out to people and keep busy with new hobbies, but for some reason, this week has been as bad as D-Day for me. I can't stop crying. Last night I just lay in the empty bath and sobbed. I don't know why it's so bad now. I think it's a culmination of things. I'm burned out from studying at uni and working. I didn't take any time off when he told me. I kept working because it helped distract me. My ex, on the other hand, is on an overseas holiday paid for by his enabling mom. He's got a tight circle of friends who have gathered around to support him, including one who thought the Ochres were underaged, and still supported him. And I have nobody to talk to. Fuck, what a self-pitying thing to say, but it's true. I have one close friend, known her for 20+ years, but she's completely self-absorbed. Right now she's obsessed with a work feud. I hung out with her the other night and she ranted about it for 40 minutes, then I tried to bring up some of my stuff, and she cut me off mid-sentence to keep complaining. I tried to talk to my mom about it too, but the exact same thing happened. My mom is obsessed with COVID, it's all she can talk about. I tried to bring this up, and she cut me off to say how she lectured some woman in public for not wearing a mask. I was kind of amazed how similar the treatment was to the best friend. I see advice here to find people to talk to, and I want to do that more than anything, but I just keep getting rebuffed. I can't book in to see a psychologist. I live in a small town, and all the psychs within a reasonable distance are booked out for months. Oh wait, one was available. It's the same guy my ex went to see after he'd cheated on me and felt guilty. Apparently this guy counseled him to lie to me about it. Not sure if I believe that, but I'm not comfortable confiding in this guy. I keep wondering what's wrong with me, why I can't seem to make connections. I've tried to reach out to so many friends. I try hard not to rant about this, to ask them how they're going, to not just make this my whole personality, but nobody gets back to me. I have nobody to talk to. While my ex, on the other hand, is supported by a large group of friends, by his family. He's just completely landed on his feet after this. Sorry. I know this is dripping with self-pity. I don't know why this moment is so much worse than the previous 6 months. I really felt like I was getting somewhere, healing. But this week has been horrible. Thanks for listening. Hope the rest of you are holding up okay too. Honestly, being here with others who are going through similar things has been the one bright spot for me in all this. Redditor's reactions update after. Redditor 1, thank you for sharing your pain with the group. Many of us have been there or are there with you. You should find this a safe place to express your pain. The nights were always the worst. When there was nothing on the TV and it was just the sound of the fan, my mind would have always run back to that moment. Well, for me it was moments. When the world is silent, the monsters inside us seem to scream the loudest. I encourage you to keep moving forward. Try to change those thoughts of the past to thoughts of a positive future. Sounds like a moment of PTSD. You are a good person and good things will come to you if you stay the course. Answer, thank you. I'm sorry you've been through this too. And yes, the nights are hard. I've started listening to audiobooks a lot just to have another voice in my head that's not my own. I found John Ronson's books incredibly funny and comforting. Thank you for your kind words, they mean a lot to me. Redditor 2, I agree with you that it is a culmination of things, each contributing to your emotional suffering. The betrayal and physical abuse by your ex is more than sufficient on its own. You have also been let down by the lack of interest and support by your mother and friend, which increased your feelings of isolation and rejection. You wanted people to be your confidant that are unable or unwilling to fulfill that role. These are people that do not understand that overcoming this level of emotional trauma is not something that often can be done within the time frame they believe it should be accomplished. They grow weary of hearing about it and will avoid the person suffering. The salt in the wound is that you are suffering while your ex seems to be doing fine with plenty of support. His shallowness and lack of sincere feelings has enabled him to be the fun guy to be around, and he is having an easier time having people that want to interact with him. You need more time before you come out the other side of this. When you do, you will have actually processed and dealt with these issues because you have faced them and healed. Reach out anytime you would like. You are not alone. There are good people in this sub that will lend an ear when you need. I am pulling for you. Answer, thank you so much for this. One thing you said in particular really struck me. These are people that do not understand that overcoming this level of emotional trauma is not something that often can be done within the time frame they believe it should be accomplished. You're right, you're absolutely right. I was expecting to be listened to and understood by my friend and my mother, but I suspect neither of them has really been through what I'm going through. My mother has been married for years and years, and my friend has never had a serious romantic relationship. Reframing it like that has helped me feel as though they didn't just cut me off because they didn't care about me, but because they honestly don't understand how I'm feeling. This community is wonderful. I feel so much better already. I wish I'd come here months ago. Update: I miss the comedy podcasts we used to listen to together. Update after. This might sound a bit trite, but I hate that my cheating ex has ruined one of the areas I used to get so much joy from: comedy podcasts and YouTube shows. We used to listen to things like Three Bean Salad and Red Letter Media together almost constantly. Both were such a happy part of my life, and we'd quote them to each other all the time and laugh. I haven't been able to listen to or watch either since he told me about his cheating. I worry I'll never be able to watch them again, and that makes me incredibly sad. Talking to people on the subreddits about it just isn't the same. I miss laughing about them together. Have any of you learned a solo enjoy to a shared interest post-affair? Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, we had a lot of shared interests, probably close to 100%. We're nerds, so games, anime, cartoons, art and so forth. Pretty much just had to force it because I didn't want to live without my hobbies. Rewatching or replaying certain ones are still huge triggers though. Answer, I'm sorry to hear that. Do you still replay the ones that are big triggers, or do you leave a few alone? And have you ever tried to share these hobbies with people again? Redditor 2, I'm that way with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. We watched it together and he got miffed I could laugh at the gang's immoral antics but was so broken about his actions. I haven't watched it since, and that was 5 years ago. Something about that blame shifting and him devaluing me for laughing at something to take my mind away from the reality he intentionally destroyed. It doesn't bring my joy anymore. That being said, I might watch it again, but I don't need to. I started reading more books and finding new shows and podcasts that have stretched my mind and perceptions. If you like it, keep it in your life. If it makes you sad or think of Cheater, tune into another broadcast. There is no right or wrong answer. Just listen to your gut and keep focused on healing. Answer, yeah, Always Sunny was a big one for us too. He was the one who introduced me to it, and it was something we quoted a lot. For some reason, though, I'm okay with rewatching this one, maybe because the gang are so delightfully mean-spirited? I think it really warms my bitter heart. I'm sorry this was your hard show to go back to. Are you a fan of Peep Show? It's quite different, but Mark and Jeremy's awful inner selves always reminded me a bit of the gang. Update, why the duck would I want a souvenir from your Duckfest holiday? Update after. Honestly, I'm still astounded by the lack of self-awareness sometimes. My ex cheated on me with time workers halfway through our 6-year relationship while he was on an overseas holiday. Lied about it for 3 years. Only told me after he was physically abusive. After that, He left me to look after the house and the bills and our pets while his mummy paid for him to go on an overseas holiday so he could sort out his mental health. While he was over there, he ducked a bunch of Tinder randoms despite having COVID at the time, and despite the fact he was meant to be in isolation, and paid a bunch of OnlyFans women to complain about our relationship and rate his DCK. Meanwhile, I have continued working, I am studying, I have had uni exams and continued studying over the summer semester, i.e. over Christmas. I'm in Australia. I need a ducking break, I am going insane. This morning, he emailed me to let me know he's sending the souvenirs he got me overseas in the mail. Why the duck would I want some souvenirs? Who in their right mind goes, oh, she'll want to look at this and remember the time I abandoned her after cheating on her so I could feel better. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, great. Stuff to burn in a giant fire. Good riddance to bad garbage. I hope you're either divorced by now or getting one soon. Op answer, haha, hadn't considered that. We were in a committed long-term relationship, but not married. My last ex had an EA and then tried to take half of my house, which I paid for entirely, so I told myself I never wanted to get married. I know it doesn't protect me entirely, but marriage has never been too important to me. I'm really thankful I don't have to go through the process of a divorce, especially since this guy tried to threaten me with taking the house too. I'm sensing a pattern here. Redditor 2, what a self-absorbed PS. Does he know he is your ex? Op answer, yeah, he knows how much the fact that he got to go on holiday and I had to stay here without a break hurt me. I can't imagine why he thought I'd want a reminder of his trip. Last update, lies, and, oh, what's this? More lies. 3 years ago my ex cheated on me with a group of S-time workers. He only told me about it 6 months ago. Since then, he's sworn black and blue that there was never another time, there was never anything like that, and that if we got back together, he'd always be faithful because that one time was enough to teach him the error of his ways. Yeah, no, he's been trickle-truthing me so much, about so many different things, always promising that there were no more lies, but there always were. I've spent the last 6 months getting so angry and sad every time. I emailed him again tonight to ask for clarification on something that didn't make sense to me. This time he says, okay, I'll tell you the big true. Before I slept with the S-time workers, I actually tried to sleep with another one, but my DCK couldn't get hard so I gave her head. Oh, is that all? Okay, I'm not even angry this time. Just so tired of it all. So tired of being lied to over and over and over again. Tired of knowing this time that there are probably more lies. Maybe I'll be angry tomorrow. Maybe I'll wake up and want to cry, but tonight when he told me I just felt absolutely bone-weary. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, time to pull the ripcord. He's trickle-truthing you. He doesn't respect your relationship enough to be honest. Op answer, yeah, I don't think he respects anything enough to be honest. Honesty is really important to me, so this was never going to work out. I just wish I'd known this about him sooner. Redditor 2, I went through your post history. I know it's hard to do, but is there any part of you that wants to just block his number, block his email? Delete him completely from your life? You've broken up, you'll never get the whole truth, so move on from him. Try to enjoy your life, go meet new people. He's not worth any more of your time for real. Op answer, you're absolutely right. I had blocked his number and deleted him from my life. I started listening to Chump Lady, but I found myself getting incredibly angry most nights, and crying on and off throughout the day. I felt like I was going backwards. In the end, I decided to unblock him because I couldn't contemplate a life without him in it as a friend. Despite all this, I've relied on his friendship for the last 6 years. I know, I understand what a terrible position that is, but it is what it is, and it's been so hard to go through this alone. So I unblocked him. Stupidly asked him if there were any more lies. That's when he dropped this in my lap. And he was so unapologetic about all of it. So, yeah, I know you're right. I need to get out and move on and block him for good, even if it doesn't feel great. I know it'll feel worse keeping him in my life. Redditor 3, why are you so focused on trying to get healing from him? Clearly he's unable to give it to you. You need to implement the 180 and just recognize he can't give you what you need, and you need to focus within to find healing and happiness. Answer, that's a really, really good question, one I keep asking myself. I think the answer is, sadly, I've grown to be codependent on him. He was my best friend for 6 years, so I thought. I live in a rural area where it's hard to get out, and my mother was abusive, so I don't keep in touch with family. I thought he was family, and so old habits are dying hard. After today, I will not contact him. I will find a good book on codependency and work on being my own family. Redditor 4, why are you still in touch with such misery? All he seems to do is bring you misery and to destroy you. You do realize that there are mature, respectable men out there that will treat you like a queen and never stoop down to getting with gross time workers, right? I pray that you find the strength to love you more than you care for him and begin the steps to leave him and forget about him. He will continue to destroy you. Answer, man, I hope you're right. I want to work on treating myself like a queen first though, since obviously if I was willing to stick it out with a guy who had drug and alcohol dependency issues, was emotionally and physically unavailable, lied to me, gaslit me, physically assaulted me, slept with time workers unprotected and tried to extort money out of me, then I definitely have some issues with boundaries and self-respect. So yeah, that's step 1. I do worry that I'll manage to attract more people like this in future, but that's a problem for another time.